Now we are going to discuss the next concept, food preservation. Food preservation. What is the importance of food preservation? In your homes, you might have seen some insect and all. Likewise, the cockroach and small flies also will be there. Small insect also will be there, including the ants. So you just think that suppose you have some cashew nuts or badams or anything else, and if you are keeping them if you are keeping them not in a proper way, what happens? Yes, this insect may be eating them and some germs also will be growing there. For example, the bread and if you are keeping it in an open space, what happens? Yes, a fungal like structure will be growing there and some germs also. While we are eating this type of food, it may be causing some harmful disease for us. Likewise, loose motion and vomiting. It may cause some disease for us. To avoid that, we have to preserve the food in a proper way. We have to preserve the food in a proper way, or we have to keep the food in a proper way. Anyway, now let us discuss how to keep these foods in a proper way. The first one, keep the foods in a airtight containers. The nuts, the pulses, the spices, all these foods can be stored in a airtight containers. So what is the importance of that? What is the need of keeping the food in airtight containers? Keeping airtight containers. What is airtight containers? Yes, the lids must be that much tight to that container so that the air cannot pass to that container. So we have to, or you may have to, keep the foods in airtight containers. Helps in preservation. These containers helps the moisture away. The moisture away means while it has some moisture, some fungal may be starting to grow. So if you are keeping the food contents in an airtight containers, it keeps the moisture away so that the germs or the fungal infections cannot be grown there. Then the next, so you can keep the nuts, pulses, spices, the biscuits, breads and all in an airtight container. Then the next one is the foods that spoil easily can be preserved by keeping them in a refrigerator or a deep freezer, as germs cannot grow at low temperature. One thing you should remind that the germs cannot grow at low temperature and high temperature. Low temperature means 0 degrees Celsius or 1 degree Celsius, and the high temperature, it means above 90 degrees. So in this temperature, the germs cannot grow. So there may be some foods that we are preparing daily. For example, if we have some rice remaining today or balance today, and we have some curry balanced today, and if we are keeping them in the outside, what happens? For the next day, it may be damaged or it may be the waste. Some germs or some other particles may be growing there and it cannot be eaten. So these containers or these type of foods can be stored in a refrigerator or a deep freezer. Keep in a refrigerator. Keep in a refrigerator or a deep freezer or in a deep freezer. You might be noticed that the sometimes if you are going to a supermarket and all, the nuggets and some other the french fries and all the potatoes for making french fries and all are keeping in the stored food containers. Why they are not keeping it in store deep? They are keeping in a freezers, isn't it? Why they are not keeping them outside? Yes, if they are keeping them outside, it may be getting damaged easily by the work or by the processing of germs and all. So to avoid that situation, the ice cream, the french fries, the nuggets and some other particles, some other food contents are also keeping milk and all keeping in the deep freezers, and the food that can be spoiled easily, the foods that can be spoiled easily can be kept in a refrigerator or in a freezer. What is the importance of that? Yes, in the low temperature, the germs cannot grow. The germs cannot grow in very low temperature. So this is the importance of keeping the food contents in a refrigerator or in a deep freezer. Then, in summers, in any seasons, you may be noticed that you may be getting some gooseberries. Isn't it? In this season, the gooseberries are available in that place. Then, if you are going for March to June month, you may be getting mangoes in large quantity, isn't it? So in some seasons, some variety of food contents are available. So how will you preserve them? How you will preserve the gooseberries and mangoes for long days? Yes, you may keep them in salt water, isn't it? While we are keeping them in salt water, it includes the tasty. Will you like the salt? Will you like the gooseberries which has been kept in the salt water? Yes, we all like them, isn't it? We may be keeping the gooseberries in salt water, then mangoes in salt water, carrots, papaya by slicing them. So some foods are preserving in salt water. Such process we are calling salting. What we are calling them? Salting. Salting. So salting means keep the foods in salting preserves food. Germs cannot live in the salt. So the germs cannot live in the salt solution. Now let me remind you that sometimes you may have seen some fishes are stored by salting. Some fishes and some meats are also preserving by drying in the sunlight using salting. So these saltings, what is the importance of salting? Yes, it helps to keeps the germs away, or the germs cannot grow in salty solution. Germs cannot grow in salt solution. So we have discussed the three methods. Three methods we have discussed. The first one, keep the food in an airtight containers. Then the next one, keep the easily spoiling food in a refrigerator or in a deep freezer. The next we have discussed salting. Salting preserves food. The next you just discuss about boiling. 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 You can see that the broccoli and all we are keeping them by boiling. So boiling also kills the germs and preserves the food. Boiling kills the germs and preserves the food. Some of the food contents may be keeping by boiling. You can see that broccoli keeping them boiled, and some other foods are also there. While we are making the pickle and all, what happens is we will boil the lemons and all first. What is the importance of that? Yes, it helps to kill the germs. So boiling helps to kill the germs. Then not only that, if our refrigerator is off, if the power is off, what will happen? Yes, we will take out the meat which is kept in the fridge and we will boil it in the water so that the germs will be clean. So it will be there for 1 or 2 days. It will be okay for us. The next method is dehydration. 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 What is the importance of dehydration? Yes, dehydration is the method of food preservation in which water is removed from the food. Dehydration is the method of food preservation in which water is removed from the food. Do you remember in the last topic I have discussed about the fish, how the fishes are keeping. What they are doing is they are mixing that fish with enough amount of salt and they are keeping them in the sunlight to dry it, isn't it? So that process is the dehydration, that is removing all the water content. Then Some others are also there. You may be seeing that fried bitter gourd. How they are making them fried? Yes, we may be cutting that bitter gourd and we may be keeping that bitter gourd dried, isn't it? In the presence of sunlight, we may be keeping them for 1 or 2 days to make them dry. Not only them, if your mother has been cooked some tapioca and it is balanced, what they will be do? Yes, they may be dry the balanced tapioca pieces by making it slides, isn't it? And they may be drying it, and after a few days they may be fry it for you. So that also will be very tasty. Then there are many other methods also there. Then mangoes are keeping by drying. Jackfruits are also keeping by drying. So many processes are there. So dehydration is a method for preserving the food. So what is dehydration? Yes, the removal of water content from the food is known as dehydration. Then the next one is keeping fruits in sugar syrups, that helps in keep in sugar syrups. Sugar syrups keeps in sugar syrups. What is the importance of that? Sometimes you may be noticed that in our bakeries and all, some red cherries may be keeping in the sugar syrups, isn't it? So that helps to preserve that food. Likewise, we can preserve many other food also. Did you get me? So these are the ways for food preservation. The first method, keep the food content in a airtight containers. The second one, the easily spoiling foods can be kept in a refrigerator or in a deep freezer. Then the third one, salting. Salting also kills germs. The germs cannot live in the salt solution, so that we can keep the food in the salt solution. Then the next one, boiling. Boiling kills the germs. Some of the foods can be keeping by boiling. Then the next one, dehydration. Dehydration is the process of, or dehydration is the method of food preservation in which water is removed from the food. By drying, what happens? If we are drying, that the water content will be removed from it. The next one, keeping in a sugar syrups. The fruits can be keep in the sugar syrups, so that it can be preserved for a long. So with this we have discussed all the contents in this chapter. So in the first beginning of this chapter, we have discussed various nutrients, various components of food, which are the carbohydrates, fats, proteins. Then we have discussed about vitamins and minerals also. Then we have discussed the process of digestion, and today we have discussed the eating habits, healthy eating habits, the importance of cooking the food, and the last we have discussed the how to preserve the foods. So you should read this chapter 2 to 3 times, and you should be for a discussion for the next class. If you have any doubt, you should directly ask me. Hope you understood this topic. Thank you. Have a nice day.